You need to stop. You have me dying. You have me dying. And if
Why did you have to flip the suit over? I thought this was a comfortable space, Claire.
No,
you're like pulling rank on me.
I'm literally like, ugh. I literally wear badges and shit.
All of this is making the episode.
Scraping by.
Welcome back to Barely Scraping By Song Edition. I'm going to do this whole episode in song. I put my cowboy boots on because I want to clink clack around. What is it called when you clink your cowboy boots?
Spurs, stirrups, Red Dead Redemption 2.
I'm ready to go to a hoedown after this. No, but today I have a very special guest. I started my job in an agency, and I started as a floater, and then I went to an assistant. And finding a safe space and someone to lean on and make you feel comfortable in a new work environment is really difficult. And I felt like, I don't know, you feel like a fish out of water when you go from college to your first job. And this is what I always wanted. I was like, I need to get a job in the industry and I need to get a job at the agency. And so I was pounding the pavement for this one agency in particular. And when I started working there, I was like, what am I doing? I had no one to turn to. I was uncomfortable in a competitive department and unsure of myself. And then I met Jalen, and he is just a breath of fresh air. He made me feel comfortable. He made little jokes. Like, truly, you didn't even know how much you like made me feel like it's okay, because I'd walk in every day and be like, oh my God, holy shit. But I would never let the people see, because you can't let the people see your weakness. So I think befriending him was, first of all, a great decision on my end, because he's just so kind, and he truly goes out every interaction with kindness and thinks of the person on the other side and loves to laugh and giggle and chuckle. And so thank you for making me feel so safe in an environment that felt so scary. So I really wanted to have him on today because Jalen is not just my friend, but he also is a filmmaker himself. He works at the agency. He's had an insane background, and now I have him as a guest. And I think having you on is like a full circle moment. And so I'm very, very proud to introduce my friend Jalen Ellis. So hi, welcome.
Hey man, thank you. You almost made me cry. We're like 2 minutes into this.
I'm like, we're getting emotional.
No.
We're getting emotional, people. Well, you have a very powerful presence, and I want to make that known because it makes people around you feel very comfortable. So you have a great soul. So at that note, we're just going to stop here and go cry.
We're going to cry, and then I'm going to beg Claire to compliment me more.
45 minutes of me just giving Jalen compliments. I could do that. We can just keep them turning in different variations of the same thing.
I'm going to be like the Grinch, but instead of like my heart growing 3 sizes, it's going to grow like 20. And I'm just going to have like a large imprint of like my heart bursting out of my chest.
Just hello. Hi, how are you? What brought you here today? Just a little itching of the background of who you are before we jump into the fine printed questions that I made for myself on these note cards.
Yeah. First of all, let's get into the cards. Wait. I want you to hold them over your head. She isn't scraping. She's swimming. And when you swim, you fly. She is suspended by her dreams.
Oh my God, period. I didn't think of it like that.
Listen, it's an analysis. Look at this.
Carpet on the wall.
Art. Look at you. A work of art. Barely Scraping By podcast. Why I'm taking bids starting at $10 million.
This is me just paying Jalen. I didn't pay any of my other guests, but he is a paid guest. So just like keep it coming.
For the IRS, I did not get paid for this.
Tax purposes, not at all.
No. I mean, well, would this count as philanthropy?
You can put on your LinkedIn, philanthropist and assistant if you want to. Filmmaker.
Philanthropist, assistant,
flog gnaw enthusiast, brown cords wearing, Saturday coming podcaster.
Yes. Well, yes. I think those
say?
are all the essential things you need to know about me. I think we can move on to the next thing.
I love that. This first season, I've told Jalen basically nothing about what's going down, and he's coming in with a very open mind. We've tapped into it about work, and he's like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what questions you're going to ask me. And I was like, it's just going to be a good old chat. But this season is just kind of tapping into the people who are starting out in this industry and shedding light on the fact that everyone takes a different path and everyone has a different journey, and no one's path is linear. And I think that's the beauty of this industry, is it always just keeps you on your toes. So I kind of wanted you to like itch the surface of what got you into it, why you're here, the background, and then we'll get into my little handy dandy swim fly moment note card with the questions I've thoroughly prepared on my guest.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna stop playing. So I was born and raised in Staten Island, New York. I think that over the years I've learned that it's a great place to be from specifically. I don't know. Like I grew up playing a lot of like video games and reading books and watching TV because my parents didn't want me to stay outside after like the lights came on, and they thoroughly instilled in me a fear of stepping on like street pavement without there being like a crosswalk or like an adult being present at that crosswalk. That was in my family specifically because if there was a random adult, it was stranger danger time, and I went back in my house. But yeah, no, I spent a lot of time just like in front of the TV, burning out my eyes, and yeah, like I went to elementary school at Our Lady of Mount Carmel St. Benedicta School, the greatest elementary school to have ever existed in the history of like
Damn, a
ever.
mouthful right there. I
Bro.
couldn't even have repeated back to you if I tried.
You see what I'm saying? Like there is an automatic barrier of entry into being a part of the OLMCSB gang.
You just pulled out every letter in the alphabet and you said, we're going to call it a school.
Yes. Well, yes.
Oh, I love that.
But yeah, no, like that school, like I think it just created a lot of foundations of like who I am as a person and how I approach people, because it was like we were the only Catholic school on the island to just have like black and brown faces. So that was a very specific experience of school and religion and so on and so forth, because like the people that know of Staten Island are like, oh yeah, Pete Davidson and Colin Jost, and that's like the face that they want to give you of that place, but that's legitimately like geographically and statistically speaking, that's only half of Staten Island, and it's the South Shore of Staten Island. The North Shore is all like very blue collar. It's very like different parts of like West Africa and Central Africa. Like there are like Liberian people, there are Nigerians, there are, moving beyond the continent, there are also a lot of like Ecuadorians and Mexicans and Honduranians and Dominicans and Puerto Ricans, because it's still a part of New York at the end of the day. But yeah, it was such a specific experience going into a Catholic school through that lens, especially with my focus on like, oh, I like video games, I like TV. So we all connected and develop this language of just like reference points that I feel like are missing or like or disconnected from like the everyday of like the job. Because like I didn't watch Friends, I watched Martin. I didn't watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm sorry. I was. That's what I'm saying. Like
the mug is Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's Late Night Larry's. I got it from Minottie's. I don't know. I'm butchering it.
Like literally, I walked in, I saw that mug, and I was like, I'm about to let you down, Claire.
Funny enough, I haven't seen it either. So you're good. You're good. I got this cup at a coffee shop because if I bought the bag of coffee, I could get the free cup. That's why. Anyways,
Shout out to them.
Shout out to them and the free mug that is now the focal point of our little tidbit.
Actually, I love Curb Your Enthusiasm. Larry David is my favorite person on the planet. He can do no wrong. You should sponsor Claire.
Let's just say everything we love around the room with the brand and then try to get them to sponsor me.
Yes, but yeah, no, like we all pushed each other in very specific ways. Like I think that was the first and the most powerful or potent time that it felt like this institution I was a part of was legitimately like my family. So we all pushed each other in a lot of different ways. Like all of my best friends, like we all stayed together, and my best friends was like the entire class more or less. Mind you, there were only 14 of us.
Like, damn, 60 people. My God.
Oh no, like the largest class that I ever saw in that school was like 30 people, and that was like unheard of. But yeah, no, we in fourth grade, like that was when you started to be able to be eligible to do extracurriculars. So my parents had me running around doing everything when I was younger. Like I did karate, and they try to get me into golf. I got a tennis racket one time. I can't even say I played tennis. I had a tennis racket one time. But yeah, no. So you could do basketball. You could do choir, because we went to church because it was Catholic school, and you could do like the Christmas musical. But the thing about it wasn't even a Christmas musical. We called it the Christmas show. and every grade would have like a song that they'd work on with the music teacher, but sometimes it would be a part of a play and people would have to like audition and do X, Y, and Z. And I auditioned for, I don't even think you could pick which role. I think you just went in and just did something. I don't even remember the process. But I got the understudy for like the lead role. And like one of like my best friends at the time's like brother, he was in like 8th grade. So they kind of gave deference to like all the 8th graders because they're like, well, you're gonna go to like high school and have a bad time. so we're gonna push kind of like all the opportunities like towards the people on like the older end of the spectrum for like the larger roles. But he got in trouble, like really bad trouble, like the day before the show, and the principal was like, "Yeah, no, you're not doing it. Like, you're done." And his mom was like the head of the PTA and all this other stuff. It was
the head of the PTA,
bro. It was
they held power.
Scandalous.
Those PTA moms literally held power,
bro. So yeah, he got in trouble, and I got pushed into being like on stage and learning all the lines the day before / the day of. And I remember being in my mom's room, going back and forth with her, grinding lines the entire night, lines and songs. Because like I'd have like solo songs and stuff. And I think from that point onward, I just like fell in love with acting, and it was great. I like went to this random improv class that was like around the corner from my house, but it was like a party hall. Shout out to Bubbles Playhouse.
Bubbles, if you want to sponsor this, we love you so much.
Bro.
She gave Jalen a start.
Bro, she was doing improv classes. She was doing like I think they had like ball pits, clowns, Zumba classes for the moms. Like it was really
PTA for the homeschool moms.
Yes, it was the spot. Claire, when I tell you, this is why I'm like Staten Island's a great place to be from. It's just random.
That makes absolutely no sense. You can get
Yes.
a coffee, a Zumba class, and a clown all at the one-stop shop.
Yes, and it's all being taught by like a middle-aged like Italian lady. Like it was great.
When you speak of jack of all trades, this woman right here, give her the crown.
I'm saying, bro.
What don't you understand?
But yeah, no. So I did that, and then I like acted a bunch when I was younger. Went to like different studios like in New York City and acted over there, and then came out here one summer. Did another like acting camp like over the summer, and I got like an agent, and I was like acting.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah. I was like auditioning for a lot of stuff. I only ever booked one thing, but that was only because I would actively audition for stuff like in the summer. Like when it was my parents, once again, Afro-Indigenous mother and first generation Caribbean father, they were like, you are going to school.
You're gonna be the new Bubbles. You'll be having the clown,
Yes.
Zumba,
Yes.
improv moment. For
Exactly.
Your future. Got it.
But I would need like 8 other arms in order to do all that Bubbles did. In order to have like the same degree of talent that Bubbles had in her pinky finger, I would need at least another 8 arms.
Not the pause. I literally had to pause and look away. I literally like put my hand up, pause, look away, because that took me out. I had the silent laugh. I have 3 different Claire laughs: the belly laugh, the ha ha ha, the ha, and then the silent killer where I'm literally dying on the inside, and then just like my normal like hee hee. But you had me the silent killer look away.
Yes.
You got me.
Bro, she's just a great, like she's tough. But yeah, no, did a bunch of that. Around 13, I had a fateful night at a Dave & Buster's, which is funny because I went to Dave & Buster's last night.
Oh, I missed that, sadly.
It was crazy. They had a video game rave inside of the Dave & Buster's.
Mean?
It means it's exactly what it sounds like.
Like I literally like video game rave.
It was like everybody cosplayed as video game characters and had glow sticks. And,
God damn, I missed that.
Yes.
I literally saw it on my calendar when I was working yesterday because one of the assistants at our company sent it out wide to go to Dave & Buster's, and I saw it and I was like, oh, I can't. But
I was about to say, you had to be business today. You got rings and collared shirts on, or collarless shirts on. I can't tell. You got a collar on.
I have
on
a
the
collar
suit.
and the blazer, and I have the whole moment.
You're
I
tough.
am the moment.
Exactly. You are the music. The music is in you.
Shit. Okay. Shit.
Well, yes.
Well, yes. Wait, where did we lose you? Remember that feeling that we had and jump back on that vibe of that flowing river that we were just on and
Yes.
get back in the raft. That
Remember that feeling.
we took a break and got a sandwich on the side of the street, and
Yeah.
now we're back in the raft, flowing back on the canoe
Yes.
down the lazy river of Louisiana.
Yes.
Faithful night.
I was about to start going into Lazy River. Okay. Fateful night.
Faithful night, David Buster's.
Yeah, when I was 13, my grandmother, she moved to like a community in Central Islip, which is like deep in Long Island, because like we're all from like the Shinnecock Indian Nation, like towards like the end of Long Island. So to me, going to Long Island is like, oh, I have to sit in the car for 2 hours, and not like I'm going to Long Island City, which is going to take me 40 minutes to go from Staten Island. And yeah, she had a Dave & Buster's down the street that we would frequent all the time. And she just loved watching all of us like have fun and make merry. So going to Dave & Buster's became like a very strange like family ritual. I think it was like the first or the second time that we went. This was like, if I was 13, it was like 20. No, I had to be 12 because that album came out in 2013. But anyways, there were CDs still. So at Dave & Buster's, they had a big like jukebox looking thing, but you could like redeem your tickets at the very end and like burn like a new album onto a CD. And that would be like your prize. It was like a couple thousand tickets or something like that. And my grandma's favorite game was Deal or No Deal. Like she would watch Deal or No Deal. She'd play it every time we went to like Chuck E. Cheese as kids. She's at the Deal or No Deal machine. It's like 3-year-olds running around her screaming. She's just locked in trying to follow like the golden case or whatever the special one was. But yeah, like a couple hours of daving and bustering later, I think I had like a couple thousand like tickets, but I was off by like 200 or 300 to like get something out of like the jukebox because I'm like 12 or 13. I'm like, yo, like yeah, I like toys, I like video games, but
Okay.
I'm cool now. I'm a
Okay.
tween.
Oh, shit.
I'm a tween.
I can burn that CD and I can love life.
Exactly, and I'm gonna be a more cultured person because of it. Little did I know I would be right. I was like a couple hundred tickets off. My grandma hit like really big on Deal or No Deal that day. And she gave
Grandma got
me
money.
She saw that I couldn't afford like a CD. So she gave me like pretty much all of her tickets. She like tried to disperse it evenly between all of like the younger people that were there. But she gave me like a little extra like to get the CD. And I burnt Because the Internet onto a Dave & Buster's CD. And I listened to that first track, Crawl, and I like to say that my life changed forever because of that.
I believe it. I 100% believe it. There's those moments in life where you truly flip a switch and something changes. So
Literally.
Jokes aside, I see it.
Yeah, no, because it was just like that happened, and then I feel like I just like my chemistry altered in my brain, and I started looking at things as art instead of just like, oh, this is a fun thing that I do. This is like a fun thing that I enjoy. It's like those books and those TV shows and those video games. I started like looking at them with a closer eye, and I was like, oh shoot, like this is great. Like I would act like for fun with Bubbles and all them, but like after Because the Internet, I watched like the short film that he had for it. It was like Clapping for All the Wrong Reasons, the internet version first, like the super short one. And I'm like, oh, like that's weird. Like, why did he do all of these weird camera moves? There's no plot. What's going on? Come to find out, there's like a longer, like 30 or 40 minute, I don't remember, like version of it where it's just clapping for the wrong reasons and that's it. And I'm like, well, why did he say the internet version? And that was like speed clips and it was just violence and pretty women and that was it. And I was like, oh, he's saying something with this. And that was the first time little Jalen started digesting art and figuring out the meanings within the meanings, to quote Naruto. But yeah, no, from that point onward, I was just like, yeah, like Donald Glover's my North Star. So I'm going to follow that and hopefully find the baby Jesus that is me being happy, like writing, directing, producing, acting, doing all the things. So in a very long roundabout way, to go like Dora on you. It was like familial communal structure, that fourth grade play, and because of the internet. And also, I don't want to go through the whole story of this because I don't know if we have time. But yeah, we watched. I watched Do the Right Thing in high school, and we had like an art curriculum because our school year was broken up into trimesters.
Same school system?
No. This is high school.
High school. So you switch. You switch from the A B C D E F G moment
to like Z prime. Like Z to the sixth power as well. We had to Do the Right Thing in sophomore year. We had like our years broken up into trimesters. So that second trimester, or like every trimester, was like we'd focus on a different art form. It was music, visual art, and film. And we all watched Do the Right Thing in the auditorium, and they'd give us sheets like at the end, and they'd be like, "What did you notice about the color? What did you notice about the lighting? Like, why do you think that he used this camera angle? Why did this move?" And all this other stuff. Mind you, I'm at a high school like that is like 90% like wealthy white boys from like upstate in Connecticut and Manhattan and Queens. But yeah, we all watched Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing. That was like the one language that we could all speak through other than like scholastically and in terms of like intelligence and stuff. I had a great time, but yeah.
That just made my heart feel so huge in that moment. That just really, I don't know, really touched me.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, like how beautiful, because it's just a universal language. It's a universal language, and even if you don't know how to connect on a different level, you can always connect through art if there's like the through line, and like that made my heart feel so like, like it clenched. It literally clenched in that moment. It's beautiful.
Your heart grew 3 times as well?
Did you go from high school to college and continue the film? Like, did you major in film?
Yeah.
So you knew that from going through the process in high school.
Yeah. We like one of my criteria for like a college was like them having a film program, but also we'd have career day like every year, and up until junior year, so freshman and sophomore year, it would be like our guidance counselors like having us enter a bunch of stuff into like some program for like an hour. And it was cool because it was an hour away from like class and algebra. We'd like enter in our profiles like our interests, what we like, didn't like, how much money we wanted to make, like stuff like that. And then at the end, it would like churn out different options for like what we could do. I got like news reporter, radio host / technician, camera operator, actor, producer, like stuff all within that vein. And I was like, yeah, the algorithm knows I'm also cooked.
So when you graduated from college and you had your film degree and you were like deciding on what you wanted to do next, like what was that pipeline like? Was it you were because I feel like when you graduate and you study something, you're like, do I still want to do this? And I feel like you really have to face what you just studied and face like, is this the career path I want to go down? Like, how did you know you were for sure about continuing down this journey and like in this path?
I think it was the fateful night at Dave and Buster's that like I said, it altered my brain chemistry. I'm like, I physically cannot see myself doing anything else. Like, the way that the film program worked at Morehouse, I went to Morehouse, shout out. You couldn't get into it until your sophomore year, but you had to apply as well. So you didn't start until your second semester of sophomore year. So I spent 3 semesters of college not doing anything film, and I was like miserable. I was also like, my partner at the time, like she noticed like how miserable I was, and I was like, yeah, like I'm just doing school, but I'm in college, so I feel like I'm supposed to be like. I feel like finding my purpose is like very ambiguous and a very big thing to say, but like something within that vein. Like I'm like, I feel like this is supposed to be more purpose led. Like I left high school and waking up at 5 a.m. to get to school by like 8:15. I'm like, I left that behind in order to walk in some sort of purpose. And I feel like I'm not getting that right now, other than like semi-socially. And I was like, you know what? Like I'm smart. Like the high school I went to, it was like we had to like test into it, do all this other stuff. And I went to school on like a full ride, and I'm like, okay, like I'm smart. I
Congratulations, it's huge.
Thanks, man. I was like, I'm smart. I could like be a doctor and make a lot of money and and have a nice house and a family and all this other stuff. Like I could thug it out and figure it out and probably like be comfortable and happy and all the other things. And she was like, you don't want to do that. I was like, but why not? And she's like, you hate routine, and also like you know that you don't see yourself doing that. And I was like, well, damn. And yeah, I just physically can't see myself not doing any of this. Like there's just, like you said, there's a language, there is a specific bond and experience and community built around doing these things and talking about them and living within them. And yeah, I think that's what like history and culture and community all comes from. Like you look at how much people revered figures like Shakespeare, and people revered figures like Homer and Aristotle, and Plato and Socrates. And the main thing that bonds all of these people together in conversation is creative writing and art and theater and dissertations on that. You could go from the one thing that connects the Renaissance to ancient Greece to like ancient Africa to like the Caribbean to like the time of the first peoples here before Columbus came, to Langston Hughes, to the Harlem Renaissance, to right now, to Tyler the Creator. Once again, shout out to Flogna. Like it's all just a language of art and people, and that's what I want to be a part of. That's what I would want my life to be additive to at the end of the day. Okay, the yap is getting focused.
We're narrowing in, people. We got through the jokes, and damn, you're like speaking to me right now in like a very beautiful way, because I always felt like before I got in the industry, fuck the note cards, probably won't even give it to this shit. But I feel like before I got in this industry, I always be one beat away from everyone. I feel like everyone was listening to a different station than me, but I was still enjoying the music they were listening to. I speak in metaphors and analogies. That's how I understand life. But then once I got in the industry, I felt like I was finally listening to the same station, and I was finally around people that like looked at life the same way as me. And I've never felt more accepted and seen. And I can't do anything else. Like literally, I have this. This is my plan A. There's no plan B. There's no plan C. This is it. And so I relate to what you're saying, because once you find your space, you're not going to leave it. Like once you find what makes you feel alive and fulfilled and passionate, it's like you root there and you stay there and you figure out how you're going to plant your seed, because this space can make you feel like you're crazy and that you're not gonna make it, not gonna get somewhere. But it makes me feel like I'm home in a sense, because my inner voice has a space to speak.
Mm-hmm. And I think that there's so many parts of what you just said that isn't just like shared experience, but the way that you express them is all a shared language. Like when you started off, you're like, yeah, speaking metaphors. Like I just be saying things. Like literally, we all do that. Like I feel like we all speak in colors and tones, and everybody has like a very specific rhythm. Going to the stations idea that you were talking about, like we're already connecting like on that basis, and we've been locked in. But yeah, no, like there's just like a beautiful dissonance that leads to like at least like a very singular harmony when all of us are in concert with one another. But yeah.
If I could clap really loud right now and I wasn't holding a mic, I would. That's so well said. And I feel like you're vocalizing a lot of the things, like when you're trying to convince someone why you want it, and you're vocalizing what I've always felt, but I haven't found the words for. Mm-hmm. And I'll just be like, play this episode with Jalen, and Mom, you'll understand. No, my mom's very supportive. She understands. She gets it.
Shout out to Mama Gelati.
Gelati.
To Mama Gelati.
There is a question I want to ask. Have you found mentors in the industry, and how important has mentorship been to you in your development?
It's so interesting. Yeah, no. I've always had just like a really weird thing with specifically being like, this person is my mentor and this person is that, because like I feel like I learn from everybody. Like I think that we're all the amalgamations of the people and experiences and so on and so forth that we have had. Like I recognized it in like second grade when I had one friend named Roger who laughed in like an extremely goofy way. Like I don't even remember how I laughed before I met Roger, because like you could hear Roger laugh from a mile away and everybody's like, yeah. Like I don't know why Roger laughs like that, but it's gonna make me laugh as well. And I think the thing I was attracted to about it was just like the freedom he'd have when he'd laugh. So then I went from like the hee hee ha ha to like making ungodly noises and just like cackling. And that stayed with me from second grade to now. So in a way, like Roger is also my mentor. Like there are so many people that I owe like a crazy debt to, I think. But that's the thing about mentorship. Like you don't owe anybody anything. It's just a giving and an outpour. But it's meant the world to me. Like once again, go like mentors in my family to mentors in grade school to mentors in high school to college to now like in the industry. It's everything. But I consider pretty much like a lot of the people that I'm around to be my mentor. Like when I was in Morehouse, it was like my sophomore year. I always wanted to do like an exchange, and I did like a semester exchange at NYU. And it came at such a specific time because I don't know, like I felt like I was in a weird way being like not left behind, but I felt like I wasn't standing shoulder to shoulder with like these two other people that were in my class and were doing creative things. One on the film side, one straight up theater. Like one was literally rebuilding the entire theater community after COVID. And it was like he was very much like leading the charge and like building. And the other one was like super invested in like studying the form and the language and so on of film. Like he was onto Fellini like in high school and was watching like random the joke that we'd have with him is like, what do you mean you haven't seen this like Dutch movie from from like 1932 that's only been dubbed in German and with the French subtitles? Are you serious? And it's not even shot in black and white, it's shot in sepia tones. So I did that exchange. I made so many great friends at NYU, including my homie Satchel, who gave me this hoodie. I cherish him dearly, and I also consider him to be like a mentor type figure, just in the way that he went about life and art. Like he would just see things and just do them and do things for people and with people. And he was so accepting of me, who was only there for like X amount of weeks. All of that to say, I came back from that experience standing shoulder to shoulder with them, and then also felt empowered I felt like I had the skill set to then start building community and then be a mentor figure for other people. One of them is coming to the agency like this summer, and I think that's interesting. But yeah. That is my entire view on mentorship. And it's crazy. I've had this entire like dialogue and like thought process bubbling in my head over like the last X amount of years. So like you gave me the outlet to just
God, I'm so everything when you're speaking, I'm just so locked in. I'm like, Oh God, it's such a great way of speaking. No, I agree. I think a mentorship that actually gave me a release in a sense, because I think I put pressure on myself to have a mentor. It's a mentorship industry. Like it's a, what is it called? What are those people who like learn how to like make iron back in the day?
Like an apprenticeship.
Apprenticeship. Like it's very like,
mind you, the word was blacksmiths. But this is what I'm saying. Like we just know. I'm like, okay, like building things, iron, hammer, carpentry, architecture. I have a homie that is from Italy, and she wants to be an architect, and she's like, yeah, I got to be an apprentice. I was like, oh, an apprentice.
God damn, exactly. I was like, Jalen, what is that random something that you just kind of do this? And he's like, bam. And I'm like, bam.
Bloop.
Exactly. And I think that's the way, but I think there's a pressure on it to find a leader, to find a mentor, to find that one person that's going to bestow all their information onto you and give you the wisdom that you've been wanting. And I think that like that, you just gave me a release in a sense of like, I can kind of let go, because I just found a mentor. I learned from you in this X amount of time. I've already learned so much from you, and I'm like, this is going to give me knowledge that I didn't have before, and this is going to give me knowledge I didn't have before. But just because you're 10 years ahead of me or 15 years my senior doesn't mean that you're going to give me everything, because I'm learning from the collective group around me, and that you just helped me understand. What stories are you most passionate about? Switching gears. What stories are you most passionate about telling that you feel aren't being told right now? Jalen also does his own creative projects on the side, so I kind of wanted to touch on that.
No, for sure. I think for me, it's always stories that are just built around culture. And I learned at Morehouse from another mentor figure that culture can be brought about from anything. It's all about people gathering around something and speaking and developing language, practices, and rituals like around a specific thing, whether that is a share coming from a shared place, a shared interest, a shared speech, a shared practice. I know like they kind of eat back into each other a little bit, but it's all about people gathering around something and speaking through that thing and having a very specific view of that thing that then translates to like their everyday life. So yeah, like I'm all about stories about like people that are from underrepresented places that are doing very specific things. And my main thing that I always want to get across whenever I make something is the experience and the lens that these people are walking through. Because again, blending what I learned at Morehouse from this Africana Studies professor, shout out to Dr. Monique Earl Lewis, my goat. She blending what I learned from her with Tetsuya Nomura's The World Ends With You, a video game that came out on the Nintendo DS. Everybody walks through life with literally within their own world. Their world begins and ends with them. And everyone, like, we take for granted that we're in this space together, but the way that you define this rug on the wall is very different from how I'd say it. Like if I were like, oh yeah, like it's a carpet. Like these are two very different word choices that are informed by maybe where you're from, your family members, the friends that you had, and all those things are influenced by location and ethnicities and history and how you react to art and how you interact with the world. So my goal with everything that I make is to give you a glimpse into the lens of someone else's world, so to speak. Like my thesis in school was about like the fighting game community, specifically in Atlanta, because for me, culture is all about specificity. It's all about the location, the language, and the practices. If you couldn't tell, that's been the repeated theme. Yeah, like we shot it at this arcade, 404 Esports, and there were people of every race, color, creed, nationality, sexuality, just in this place to play video games and speak a video game language. Like, if I told you to do a 2-3-6 light punch, what does that mean? If I were to say, oh yeah,
you're talking to me.
Yes.
Oh my god.
If I were to say I need you to do a 2H when he does a neutral jump, like you're like
gibberish to me.
What is that? And even reading it is crazy. Like 63214S or 63214-6X. But like all of these are languages, and a lot of people just see people clacking around with controllers and they're like, oh, this is just like a silly thing you do. But my goal was to be like, no, this is a place where people feel like their most true and powerful selves. Like you go into an arcade, people don't even like ask you like your name. Like they all refer to each other like by like their gamer tags. And I think that is so interesting. But yeah.
That is like the worlds you, that's what I think that's what I love most. The worlds you uncover and the people you uncover like through that is just, yeah, I feel like it's like you're flipping back a rock, and under every rock there's a whole, whole community of people living within. But yeah. I am doing something where every episode I want the last person to ask the next person a question. Mm-hmm. And because you guys don't know who's next, some of you don't know each other, but the next person is Terrence, so you do know him. He knows Terrence. But my last guest left me with a question for you, and it said, in the industry or in life, what do you fear the most?
Dang. I think the thing that I fear the most isn't necessarily like failure or dying or whatever. I think it is stagnation and homogenization. Like I have a lot of thoughts on the afterlife. Like I came up in a household that was predominantly like, or literally like mainly like Christian. So like my view of the afterlife is very much like, oh yeah, like life after death. I think that there is an afterlife. But I think the thing that I fear the most about dying is like running out of things to talk about. Like I don't remember where it was said, like in what show, but somebody said, yeah, like if we're gonna live forever, we're gonna like find everything to talk about, and there's just gonna be like silence. Like we're gonna run out of things to talk about if we're just sitting around hanging out forever. Yeah, just the idea of stillness, not coming from peace or harmony, but just like there literally being nothing and nothing changing and everything being the same. And that extends like to all things. I feel like every couple of years, like I'm always, or even every other like week or month or day, like there's a new song or TV show or like activity that I'm like, or person that I'm obsessed with, and they influence me and I change and we get into conversation and I notice other people around me change as well. Like whether that's for the better or for the worse sometimes. I think that change and dynamism is what makes life worth living. And I think it's what keeps art interesting. And as long as art is interesting, then the world can change too. Because it's like you think about like some of like the darkest times in history, the first places that have been attacked are like centers of culture. Like you do the classic Library of Alexandria. You could go back to again Columbus and like the settlers and like burning longhouses and like trigger warning again, like violating like medicine women and just women in general who are central to indigenous culture. It's like we live under a matriarchy, and I feel that that's still the case within my own family as well. So it's like when you take away the centers of culture and you enforce something else onto somebody, and it all has to be the same and also fit under this umbrella, like everything is brainwashed and controlled and everything is uniform. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I just fear stagnation and nothing ever changing. Like you're making me realize a lot of things. Like Claire, like literally this is like I was like
not even like therapy.
Dude, no, it's not even like therapy. I think like talking to you, you're so good at listening and asking questions. That was the first thing that I ever noticed about you. Yes, like you're like, I forget who you were talking. You're talking to somebody, and he played hockey, and he was like, yeah, I played hockey, and then you were like, what was that like? And then he'd be like, yeah, it was cool. You're like, how often did you practice? He'd be like, what's your favorite thing to do like on the ice? He'd be like, yeah, like skating and hitting. He said something about like a specific type of shot. And then you were like, what is that and how do you get good at it? Like, how often do you practice that? And I just watched this 15-minute conversation, not saying anything, and you just talked about the specifics of like hockey and hockey practice and hockey skill development. And I don't know. Do you remember any of that?
Not at all.
That's
not
what
at
I'm
all.
saying,
I don't even remember who I was talking to.
I don't remember either. But you're so good at making a thoughtful and considerate space. And thank you.
Full circle moment. We started with me. Thank you. That was a very, very kind compliment. Sometimes I go through the world and you don't even realize the things you have going for yourself. You forget and then you're reminded. And so thank you for reminding me, because that truly is a very kind compliment. What is the last thing that you want to leave with the next guest? The last question that you want to live. But now that I told you, I flipped.
I was about to say that you cheated. I'm not gonna lie.
I did cheat by telling you it was Terrence, but pretend like any question you would have asked, you would have never known.
Okay, well, the question I would have asked him is like, why are you so perfect?
Shit. Should I actually ask him that? Should I actually ask him that?
You should, and then tell him that it was me.
Okay. I'm gonna hit it with that. Why are you so perfect?
Why?
That is because all these questions are like, literally, what do you fear the most? And he's getting hit with, why are you so perfect?
Yeah.
I love that. Well, Terrence, you're gonna be hit with that question, and I can't wait to ask you that, because God knows how you're going to answer. But Jalen, truly, thank you for a beautiful episode. You made me think things. You brought me down into the depths of my mind and made me realize, again, why I love this industry and why I'm in it, because people like you. So thank you for being a guest on this episode. And you touched me today. And so it really means a lot to me.
I'm always grateful to play a part, man. Thank you.
Of course. Cheers, my people. We started with a giggle and we ended with a cry.
Bow.
Ta-ta.